While there are many influential leaders I've encountered, I believe it's most important to highlight minorities in leadership. I've chosen to interview an African American woman in leadership who is currently employed at LinkedIn. I've decided to focus on three different topics with her. Number one being leadership and what leadership means to her. Number two, being leadership qualities and what leadership qualities are most important to her. And number three, what it means to be a minority in leadership. Her name is Yasmin, and she is an account manager at LinkedIn at the moment. And she previously was a manager of sales at Enterprise. And our relationship is that we are sorority sisters. And during the time that we were enrolled in school together, she served as our sorority president and the treasurer. So just let me dive right into it. As described in chapter one of the text, my interviewee, Yasmin, highlighted leadership is shared communication amongst the leader and the followers. She explains that she's an effective leader because she learns from her followers and is open to their input and feedback. She stated her followers are often taken aback by this approach and in return have shown a great amount of respect for her. This point I definitely resonate with a lot because all too often, sometimes leaders they don't come to their followers and ask for their input or, ask for their opinion. So if your leader is to do that, it kind of makes you feel good being a follower, and it makes you feel like your voice is heard. So I definitely think that it's positive reinforcement, and it creates a really good environment for employee or for followers. Excuse me. So, segueing into leadership qualities, she's explained that one of the most important qualities a leader should possess is confidence. She further states that this is a rather cliche answer, but a leader must be confident in the art of not knowing. I was intrigued by this answer, and she further elaborates that leaders do not have all of the answers, and that one must be confident enough to state, you know what, I'm not sure, let me find that out for you. So I personally resonate with this because some leaders I've encountered, they aren't as transparent with the unknown because of their leadership title. Even when I was placed in certain leadership roles, because I had a certain title, I would feel that I always like I have to know everything. So I do think that it's great, that sometimes, not everyone has all the answers. So it's good to be able to share that. So as we've covered in the text, Yasmin states that she has a democratic leadership style, but will sometimes have to take on an authorian style because she finds that if some of her followers are lacking in some areas, she would kind of have to step up and kind of see like what's going on there and how she can help, which I definitely find reasonable. I think that followers, and myself included, sometimes we forget that leaders, they have their own metrics or they have their own boss and they have their own things that they have to abide by. So we may look at it as being a micromanager when in return they have a job that they have to perform as well. And last, we've discussed being a minority in leadership. I myself am a minority just like she is. I am both, an African American woman. She's an African American woman. We both work for tech companies. So, we kind of relate with that aspect. But we've discussed being a minority in leadership, and she explained that she's fortunate enough in her current position to have worked for a company that values diversity. She explains that with all of the social injustices occurring in the world, her team is extremely supportive of her and they encourage difficult conversations. I know last year with everything that was going on with George Floyd, my manager, and my team, they definitely encouraged that conversation. I work for Uber, so Uber specifically, they now acknowledge Juneteenth as a holiday. They allow, PTO for certain people that just, needed a mental break from everything that was going on in the world as well. So I definitely appreciate that my company, as well as Yasmin's, took heed to that. Um, and she stated that her company has several employee resource groups that cater to minority groups. So, with all of the good that she's experienced, she stated that she finds herself code switching, which I'm guilty of. And she doesn't believe that there's a fine line between being her true authentic self and remaining professional. So Yasmin has provided such a raw, authentic perspective, and she's given me a lot of great information. I was able to connect with her and learn many things. Her perspective is extremely unique, and I'm elated that I had her as my interviewee. So I hope that you all can kind of learn, some things that I've learned, or, just learn a different perspective. So thank you. Bye bye.